Inside the Game, back live on your airwaves, episode 249 here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky joining you, and Ryan has a new audio setup. He has ditched the headset. He is now gone with the headphone/microphone combo. Yeah, I was a headset guy for a while on this show, so I'm not going to bash you for it. I mean, the headset's handy, it's convenient, but it sounds a little bit better over there.
I think so. Especially, I sound a little. It feels a little bit. It's kind of dropping a little bit, so I got to fix something during the commercial break. But I'm liking it so far. I like it. It sounds better, I guess. And
Yeah.
I will say, you know how we were interviewing. Well, we weren't interviewing John, but you know how John had to get into the conversation yesterday. I think if I had this set up instead of the one yesterday, it would not have been weird. Where I heard 5 words before John said it through my headphones. So yeah, that is. There's a couple times we've been on meetings and I'm like, okay, I may have to close the door here because I can hear everything before it gets to my ears. So yeah, it's I like it so far.
It's the beauty of headphones, but just anything sound canceling in general, even like gamer headphones. Like even if you knock on the door or whatever, you're not going to get my attention unless you walk directly up to me. So that is the beautiful thing about headphones and microphone combo as opposed to the other way around. But welcome in to everyone joining us here today. It is a disaster weather-wise in the Detroit area. So the question is today, Ryan said he had to dodge a few things on the way in. The wind is blowing, I think it's 25 miles an hour right now. Now, mind you, we have gone through in Detroit, Metro Detroit. Like 20 to 25, like
it's more than that. It's way more than that.
Really? Okay, so the weather.
It's like 40.
Really?
Yeah, there was it was an issued advisory. Like,
ooh, yeah.
I don't know, like an hour ago. Warning. It's like 40 to 50 miles per hour. So yeah, it's a little bit more than 25. We're trying to downplay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not trying to be an alarmist.
There
but
was
the hell did you have to dodge on the way in?
A couple things, but while I was setting up this show, I was like. I'm sitting here, and like all of a sudden, there's like weird noises were going around here. I'm like, "What's that noise?" It sounds like someone's like trying to break in, or like someone is trying to like use some power tools or something. Like I'm just like looking, like I'm typing, doing some stuff, and I'm like, "What the heck's that?" Then I found out it's just a wind, like through the windows and like, cause like I'm on the edge of the building, I guess, like the wall that's like within 4 feet of me. That's the outside wall. And it was just weird, man. It was just weird.
And generally I hate the starting a conversation with weather. I don't care to start a conversation with weather. However, I will say this because I know we are a national affiliate and we have people from all over the place that listen. And I think in a stretch of, was it 6 or 7 days, I think we've had rain, snow, hail, and it's also been 70 degrees mixed in there in one of those days. So that's where we're at right now. We're having a ball here in the state of Michigan. But welcome back in again, everyone joining us here on 249. Let's get into our first hour of our conversation today. First of all, I wanted to lead with this. I know it's not a soccer topic, but just wanted to mention it quickly.
Sorry, I missed it, man. I missed it.
Boy.
I forgot to. Sorry, I was adjusting the mic, so like I forgot to look at the chat. But he goes, "I'm back." Hey, shout out, Schrock, man. Shout out. I told him to do
give him
that
some
yesterday.
horns.
He does it. Shout out, Schrock. I'm sorry I missed it. I missed it like 3
Did you hit the
minutes
horn?
ago, but I'm glad he did it. And he says the headphone
horn
and mic combo is elite. Yeah, I just got to figure out the height of this thing, and we're good.
So now we both have the brick motif, and we both have the headphone and mic combo. So it looks
all
looks
I need
great.
is a beard.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. That's the next step. You got something coming in. It's just you might be missing pieces, but that's okay. It is what it is. Does the horn work?
Okay, this is gonna have to get a little adjusting too as well, because like normally I could like move over here, but like and everything's fine.
Yeah.
To, like read the chat, but like now I kind of got to stay a little stationary. But he says at least you didn't start seeing someone on a bike in the air like the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that
would have been horrible.
That's true. It's like Kansas. So
yeah. I've had to dodge a few things in my time. I had to dodge a street cone once on the way to Detroit. That was fun. Yeah, a truck in front of me hit it.
Yeah, I had to dodge. Like, this is what I had to. I was trying to mess with the mic. I didn't answer your question. I had to dodge. Like all the stuff that like you not sod, but like stuff that you lay down for like grass or something. Like all that. Like it's like straw or hay or whatever. Yeah, all that was in the road, and I didn't pick up on it until like because it was dark outside, obviously. I got here about 7:50 No, I was probably at that point. It was probably like 7:15, so it was dark out. But as I was going, I noticed at the last second, and luckily no one was in the left lane, so that I quickly got over. But that was one of the things I had to dodge.
I will say though, at least the roads in Metro Detroit are okay. I mean, maybe some of them are
What are you
tough,
talking
but
about? It's horrible.
they're bad. You think they're that bad? I was gonna
Yes.
say South Bend. I think Indiana has the worst roads in
There's
the
no
entire
one.
50
There
states
is
of the
no
United
one in the
States.
history of the United States that's got a worse road than Michigan. There's no way. I don't
I
believe
don't know,
it.
man. I would make a drive down to say hi to Shrocky one of these times, and you let me know what those potholes look like, because some of them look
Yeah,
like
it's
they'll
probably
take
worse
your
than
car
it's
in.
probably better than Michigan's. I can't even drive in I can't even drive in the subdivision anymore. I got to take like an alternate route because the
Yeah.
roads like it's just boom 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 boom. Like it just
Ryan and I have had these passionate blowout conversations the last 2 days. We should do it about potholes for 30
He
minutes.
says
Maybe
you should see
people
it
will.
now since the snow is gone. I've seen Michigan's. I'm gonna rock with Michigan's for being worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a point of pride for us up here, actually. So we'll just take that. We'll take that opinion. We actually have the worst roads. That belongs to us.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, it's at least you don't have a lot of trees around you out there. That's that's where the stuff gets dicey with the wind and everything when you got trees in the road. So more people than trees. That's the east side thing. I like my trees personally, but I wanted to mention this before
Weird.
we get into our soccer conversation. The LED floors, like we were talking about yesterday in the Big 12, died immediately.
And rightfully so.
Some injury issues, players slipping all over the place. It was a cool idea in the concept of it, but I wanted to give credit to the Big 12 where it's due, because they took this one on the chin and they went, okay, all right, it was not the right idea. And I thought it was bizarre to begin with what they were doing in doing the different graphics and the designs, and I saw it, and you could put stats up on the floor, and I think it's something similar to what we've seen the movement. We see it a lot in hockey now. The boards themselves used to be just a bunch of placed advertisements, but now you see scrolling stuff, and now you see stuff changing, and even on the ice they have different things, but it's always during intermission, it's during breaks, it's not during the game. So I think it's the right call, and yeah, players were going to get hurt. I mean, when you're, when the floor is moving beneath you, your center of gravity is not going to be what it needs to be, whether or not that's a flat surface or not. I mean, I see street art all the time where they'll make it look like there's a giant hole in the sidewalk, and people will just lose their mind because they walk over top of it and it looks realistic enough. And so I think the technology that we have is really cool, but I think that might be just taking it a step too far when it comes to, trying to dress up the broadcast and the look of the broadcast and the experience and everything else along those lines. Yeah, it's great. Maybe it elevates the experience for the viewer, but for the players, yeah, it's downright dangerous. But, for an organization like the Big 12 to go, yeah, you're right. This was a bad idea. We thought it was going to work out. We thought it was great. It's not. I mean, that's a lot of credit to that organization for just being like, you know what, you're right. This this isn't what we thought it was going to be.
I'm sure it sounded great, Nate. I'm sure you had some good points there. I agree with you. It was stupid.
Did you not
No,
hear
I had,
anything I said?
John dropped off my breakfast burritos. And
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, how do I make
right.
this thing not keep falling down and have to constantly hold it? So I'm sure you sounded great, Nate. But
Yeah.
I would agree with you because Christian Anderson got hurt. And Texas Tech's already down JT Toppin and all that fun stuff. So let's get into a guy who isn't hurt but doesn't really want to be here.
Yeah. First topic of our soccer portion of our conversation. Noah Kai Banks is holding out for an opportunity to play for Germany. Won't
Not
be in the
holding
March
out.
camp.
He's just leaning. His
Leaning,
decision is leaning.
I guess. Right. I guess it seems that way, right? Because he won't be in the March camp for the U.S. men's national team. And this was something that we had talked about already, but I think what I mentioned when we talked about it the first time around is obviously with him being, coming up in the German school and moving over there early in life, all of his formative memories, as I said, once upon a time, we're all formed in that country. And so coaches and players and friends and other people that he's met along the way that have helped him get to the point to where he is one of the brightest stars in the United States in terms of products that have been born here in the U.S. So I would understand why he would lean that way. But more than that, and I think I missed the more important part of this conversation around Noah Kai Banks the first time we talked about it. He wants to be able to compete to win a World Cup, and I get it. I think for someone like Noah Kai Banks, if he were to be on the U.S. men's national team, sure. Would he see the field? Would he see the pitch a lot sooner? Absolutely. I think he would automatically become a key cog in the machine that is the U.S. men's national team, and he could be a very important piece for Mauricio Pochettino. However, if you're giving me the choice between Germany and the United States, and who do I think I have a better chance of maybe going and winning a World Cup with, it would be Germany. And I can't blame him for feeling that way or leaning that direction. You know, the truth is that winning a World Cup changes everything in your life. I mean, just look at, obviously, you know, Messi. It cemented his legacy. It's something that you'll carry with for the rest of your life, and it's something that, you know, we talk about. There's only been a handful of players that have ever won a World Series or a Super Bowl. Yeah, a very small amount that have ever won those. But talk about a World Cup, it's once every 4 years. I mean, there's even less than that have ever been able to say they've won a World Cup. So if he wants to put himself in the best position to go out and win at that highest level, Germany would be the right decision. And I know I'm an American, and I know I have my biases, and I'd love to see him out there and see him in the red, white, and blue. But if that's the decision, and if that's the reason behind why he would want to go lean that direction and be with the Germans, I completely understand it. I mean, you know, there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of an emotional pull to go play for Germany, and I'm sure there's probably layers to that story. But I don't know, Ryan. If I want to go win a World Cup, I'm probably going with the Germans.
To be honest with you, I don't think Germany's winning a World Cup anytime soon. It's going to be like 2034 based on what they got going on. And after the whole, well, again, the only reason how they got even into 2014 and all that was because they missed the Euros. Who was that? That roster was insane. The Muellers are gone. Kimmich is still there. Lahm is gone. Hummels is gone. Klose is gone. Like, all those German players are gone, and now this is like the new age of German soccer, I guess. And if I'm looking at it, Banks probably doesn't even get into the side. I don't even know if he gets into the roster in 2026. I think you're looking at 2030. But this is the point that I've wanted to say, and I didn't know if you were going to say it, is if you have to get recruited to play in again, I get it, the guy was born here, but he was basically raised in Germany. But if you have to get recruited recruited hard to play in a World Cup that is in your own country, I don't really want you at that point. Like, I think this guy's insane. I've said it from the get-go. Like, this is my guy. Like, he's so good. If him and Richards are our center back pairing for the next decade, I think we can make runs in certain things, because two center backs, if you have them, most important there is. But if you have to get recruited to play in a World Cup in your own nation where everyone is there to watch, your home crowd is there, it's a home game for you every single time, I don't really want you, man. Like, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it of wanting to play for Germany. You lived there your entire life. They're a better nation, obviously, soccer-wise and everything. And there's better players than we have. I get it. And I think Nagelsmann is a really good manager. But if I got to recruit you that hard to bring you to play in your own World Cup in front of your own fans, in front of, you know, your own American citizens, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm like Brad Holmes. We're good. Like, I get it. Like, this guy's, I think he's going to be an unbelievable player. But at the same time, he's still 19. Long ways to go. But he's playing in Bundesliga top flight the whole time. And it's unbelievable what he's doing. But I don't know, Nate. If I got to recruit you to do this in your own nation, like, that should be the pull in itself. That should be the appeal in itself. You are playing in a World Cup on your home soil. You're playing in a World Cup on your home soil. Yeah. This is everyone's dream. And I got to recruit you hard to defend off another nation after you've represented the U.S. on the youth level all the way up from the U20s, U21s, not even U23s, but the U20s, I should say, and the U17s, rather. I'm good, man. Like, I shouldn't have to do this as hard, because at the end of the day, what have we said every single time about this current generation of the U.S. men's national team, the Pulisic's, the McKennies? They don't wear their heart on their sleeve. They don't They don't care that much. They don't all
Mhm.
this stuff based on what the Tim Howards, the Clint Dempseys, the Marcus Bealey's, Landon Donovans, they all said it. They care so much for being on the national team. They wanted to be there every single time. And that's not to say that Pulisic, McKennie, and all those guys don't want to be there. I think they certainly want to be there. But it seems like 10
Yeah.
years ago, the team cared and tried a little bit harder. Than that's I still think this team is more talented than back then, but just seems to care. And this is something that's going against of what everyone has been saying the last couple of months is this team doesn't care as much as the old generation did. And if I got to recruit you
Yeah.
to do this, I'm kind of out, and that's hard for me to say because I really like this guy. I think this kid is special. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I think he's got the physical frame and the physicality and all the intangibles to be an unbelievable center back in the world game. But if I got to do this to bring you into a World Cup when we're hosting it, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this is not the first time that the U.S. men's national team has gone through something like this. Serginho Dest came up playing for all the U.S. youth national teams. There was a huge push
Yeah.
from the Netherlands.
Gio Reyna in
Obviously, we
England.
know where. Yeah, but we know where those
Pulisic could have played
guys
for
end.
Croatia, if we're being honest.
That's true. Yeah, yes, I didn't even think about that.
He
Yeah,
could've made
I
a
mean
World Cup
Croatia's
final in his
Croatia
first World
is a-
Cup.
yes,
Instead,
a very
he didn't even qualify.
yeah. So that is you're right. And we know where all those guys ended up. We know the choices that they made, and that was
Balogun's
to
another
stick
one.
around and play for the US men's national team. Right. And so I think for Mauricio Pochettino, it's also like, you're like the guy in the friend zone, like you're always sitting around waiting for your opportunity. Maybe you're not going to get it, and maybe he doesn't want it. And so that's something that I think you also have to be willing, if you are Mauricio Pochettino, to sit back and accept, like, listen, his heart's not here. We have to focus on the guys that are already in front of us. Because at that point, especially at 19 years old, I mean, that's the other part is like, if I have to try that hard to convince you that you could be a significant part of this squad in a World Cup with the U.S. at just 19. And we talk about, you talked about the new wave of German players. I think they're 10th right now in the FIFA World Rankings, but it's, I mean, you could say the same exact thing for the U.S. men's national team. I mean, and look at a lot of the players that we saw in 2022 who were very young. And again, that was the prevailing theme of that team. Now, 4 years later, they have that much more seasoning. They have that much more experience. And so for someone like Noah Kai Banks, he could continue to feed that machine. But if he's doing all of this right now, and if in March he doesn't want to be in the camp and he's not going to arrive in the camp, it shows me that there's no real desire, whether or not Germany ends up actually coming out and actually wanting him to be a part of it. Just doesn't really seem like there's much of a desire to be on the team. And I think what's problematic is, does he change his mind a month or two down the line? I don't know if that's going to sit well with USA Soccer. I think right now they're like, well, you got to make a decision. Like, we're ready to build up to the World Cup. We have these huge international windows coming up. We have these, they don't really count for anything necessarily, but they are important games to compete in and to know who we have and to know who we're sending out there. Because even now, the way that we look at it, we have an idea as to who the majority of our 11 is going to be, but even then we still have debates on that. So yeah, it's, you can only pull and push and prod and poke so much until the other party has to decide whether or not they're willing to do it. And right now, when you compare it against the likes of Dest and all the other, dual nationals that you were talking about, it's clear where his priorities lie, and it's not with the U.S. men's national team. So, I think that should be pretty clean cut for someone like Mauricio Pochettino to see and just be like, hey, I mean, it is what it is. We move on with the group that we do have, and yeah, we just find a way to go out and compete.
So then the conversation becomes is who's the next center backs? Tim Ream, I don't really want playing. I want him to be on the roster, but I don't want him playing. I think he's too old.
Yeah.
Then you got to, obviously Chris Richards will be anchoring it all. Then you got to think Miles Robinson's got to be in there. Mark McKenzie, Carter Vickers is out. So I'm looking at this, and it's that's not a backline that I can truly get behind. If Banks is there, I get it. 19 years old, but Lamine Yamal was 16 starting in a Euros and won the whole thing. So that age does not truly matter in this whole thing. Mbappe was 18 and scored in a World Cup final. But all I'll say is we need to get another center back, hopefully, because I'm not as confident with the center back pairing of of a Chris Richards and a Miles Robinson and Mark McKenzie. Look, we got one of the center backs that I'm truly believing in and can play out of the back because, again, we're obsessed with playing out of the back with our feet with the center backs, and there's no issue with that. But when you don't have the players to do so, I mean, there's no point in doing it. Chris Richards, I'm fine
right.
with. He's fine back there. But in terms of, Robinson, McKenzie, haven't seen it. Not super confident yet, but I know Banks can. And so I got to look at this thing, and now we got to see our center backs. And Poch can also be thinking about at the same time of, I got to try super hard to just get this guy to play because this is going to be my only World Cup anyway. And this is going to be my only tournament anyway. So it's not like it matters to me and not the future of the men's national team. All that matters to me is this tournament in front of me. This is the contract that I have is get through the World Cup. If I can get through the World Cup, maybe make a little bit of a run, I might be considered a hero, and they might build me a statue or something. But to be honest with you, I think the reason he's trying so hard is because this is his only tournament anyway. It's not like he's getting to a Gold Cup again. It's not like he's getting to a Copa America again. He wants to make sure he's got every bullet in the gun, and with this team, he wants to make sure he's got every chance and the best chance that he can have with this team in front of you in 2026 in this summer to do anything. And he wants to make sure he's got the best center backs. The only thing I will say that Poch might be at fault here is instead of looking at a guy like Tristan Blackman, who was an MLS Defender of the Year during some of these camps, why didn't we just call up Noah Kai then? Why didn't we choose if the windows didn't matter so much in September, October, November, why didn't we call up Noah Kai then? Why didn't we do that then? Why do we have to bring in guys, MLS guys, that aren't going to, elevate us, take us to the next level in terms of the men's national team? Why do we give them a look? Why don't we give Noah Kai? Because Noah Kai, yes, I get it. He's 19, but he is the type of, again, production potential. That's a big thing. I know that's going on, especially in America. I know Nate's favorite coach, Signetti, says it all the time. But I'm just saying the potential and the production that Noah Kai has compared to some of these other players, it's better, man. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why we had to waste some of those camps on those type of center backs instead of getting a guy like Noah Kai Banks and giving him a chance instead.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Let's take a break here on Inside the Game. When we come back, let's touch on a few comments that we got. I know we've had a few videos recently that have done well, specifically the ones talking about the USL. And then obviously we got Indoor Insights. Tanner White joining us here on the show, the MLIS and the WMLIS championships coming up here on the National Soccer Network. Of course, our own Ryan Glinsky will be a part of that broadcast crew. But before we get to those comments, let's touch on FC Bayern Summer Soccer Camps, a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America, open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern Camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
America's oldest soccer tournament, the most fabled Giant Killers, for the first time ever in Genesee County. Your Flint City Bucks host Wisconsin professional club Forward Madison FC in the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Kickoff is 6:30 p.m. Thursday, March 19th at Don Batchelor Stadium in downtown Grand Blanc. Be part of history as the winner moves one step closer to a Major League Soccer matchup. Tickets are on sale now at flintcitybucks.com. Flint City Bucks, the future of MLS.
Back in live on Inside the Game, episode 249. Here on the National Soccer Network. Get into some of our comments here on social media before we dive in.
First. Oh, that was weird. All right. So, I know that the commercial that just happened. Of course, little pregame, postgame show next Thursday. Flint City versus Madison Forward, presented by Irene's Craft Kitchen and Beer Garden. I'm excited to try their food. There's a lot of Polish and Hungarian heritage food in that place, so I'm excited for it. But this is what I really wanted to say. If you people are interested in going to a Flint City, a U.S. Open Cup game, I can't do this with the mic anymore. I gotta put it in, below the mic. But if you guys want to go to a game, we got tickets right here. U.S. Open Cup. This is really difficult. Really difficult. If you guys want to go to a game, head over to our Instagram, Nat Soccer TV. Drop us a DM. We're not going to do like a draw for it just because, we have it's a national soccer network, and we want to make sure that the people of Flint, Michigan, or Genesee County area want to go to a game. We got 10 tickets to give away. First come, first serve. We will either mail them. We'll be at the game too. So in case if we don't have any, we can also hand them out right before the game as well. We'll be outside the gate, but boom, DM us for some tickets. We got 10.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, and competitive ball to watch too, and fun environment as well. And I know that obviously a lot of pride in that Flint City team at Kettering University, where the home of Mark Ingram. For any of those who know that name, he was played there in high school ball, and then obviously went to Bama. And
Mark Ingram, the running back.
Yeah, Mark Ingram, the running back, he was born in Flint. I know he was born in Flint. I don't know what high school he went to, but
we just got a person who wants some tickets already.
Just like that.
Shout out Ken Seelman. I hope I said that right. He said tickets.
Oh,
brother.
Ken, what's going on, my man?
Ken, appreciate it already. Yeah,
my guy.
Tell us how many, I guess. I don't know. But yeah,
we'll take all 10 of them, actually. All right.
Shout out
Sick.
Ken.
All right. Moments
like
later.
Going
all
to
right.
the game.
Does Ken get a horn?
Oh, yeah. Ken gets, I don't know how many tickets he wants, so we'll adjust it on that, but at least you get one. If you get if you want
hear
three,
it?
But yeah, shout out Ken, who already wants tickets. Hey, man, it'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, good stuff, Ken. Appreciate you dropping in. I know we've chatted before, but should be a good one. And obviously, to anybody else, if you're there, they'll be outside the gate. But just drop us a DM if you can.
As I said that, I see Ken wants to send a message on Nat Soccer TV Instagram. I'm like, no way someone got it that quick. Like, no way. Hey,
Ken, you got to drop some comments on the show, my man. If you're watching every day, we'll take your comments. Love to talk about whatever you got for us. But Indoor Insights with Tanner coming up here in just a little bit. MLS and WMLIS coming to the end of their seasons as we get closer to the championship game. You excited about doing some pre-post and half?
Yeah, Kevin and Tanner White have been in contact with them. Obviously, been in contact with Tanner. Every single week. I need some more clarification on some rules, Tanner. So if you're watching, need to clarify a couple things. But yeah, no, excited. It should be fun. The tournament's, I think, March 28th and 29th, semifinals and the final. Oh, and speak of the devil, Tanner White already with us here this morning.
Yes.
Shout out Tanner. What's up, man?
Hey, morning, guys. Great. Again, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Outstanding.
Ready to get rolling for the we got the championship coming up. I just saw that post on social media yesterday of you and Ryan, both obviously going to be involved in that championship call. Just I guess I'll start off with this. How excited are you to see the final product this season. I felt like it's been a fun year building up to it, and now we get one kind of big go around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of running out of the words for it already with just, the first couple of talks I've had with people. They say, hey, how are you feeling about it? I'm like, guys, I don't have all the words for it. It's unbelievable, again, to see the growth that we've had across both of our leagues. We're still working on kind of an amateur final and what that could look like over there in Law 2. But the match is going to be unbelievable. You still have clubs with a chance to round out regular season defeated and then possibly meet in the final undefeated. And I mean, it chills, guys, and shivers.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner. I did my first MLS and WMLIS games this past weekend. I got a couple things. I got a couple questions. I thought I understood all the terminology and all the rules. I got one question. Is it called a box or is it called a crease for like the goalie?
Been using box.
Box?
Yeah, we've been using box.
Okay.
Crease is
all right.
right. That's more of a crease violation. That's kind of a lacrosse thing.
Okay. I was
true.
like saying box, but the way that it was like shaped, I'm like, man, I really hope no one's getting mad at me for calling it box. And then number 2, what warrants a PK? Because there was a couple times in the games where I did Las Vegas versus Boulder that there was a couple of PKs, and even Phoenix versus Las Vegas on the women's side, there's a PK. What warrants a PK?
Yeah, so let me ask you this first. Did you have any of those shootouts where you had the free run up and everybody's
that one, the 1v1.
Yeah. So the number one thing that you're going to see those happen on is accumulation of 6 fouls on a team in a half.
Okay.
That count resets the half, but whenever a team gets 6 fouls within one half, then you do get that free run-up. There's a couple of sort of automatic shootouts that'll get awarded. Dog-so, right? Denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity is another one. Those are just, you got to manually comb through the rules, and, I mean, who better to ask, I think, here, hopefully, to find those kinds of things. There are a few situations which automatically trigger it, but the thing to remember, you see normal PKs too, right? For fouls within the box and those kinds of things that you might expect bring a PK, or just, severity of a certain contact that maybe isn't necessarily bringing a red card, but it's referee discretion for awarding them on certain fouls.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not know that. So 6 fouls in one half? Doesn't even matter anything?
Okay.
Or quarter,
Yeah, that's
I should
right.
say?
No
matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a half. And then that'll
half.
reset at halftime, reset one more for overtime.
Oh, so it's like the bonus and double bonus in basketball. Okay.
That's what that's just what I was
Appreciate it.
about to say. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's a really good
that clears up a couple of things because I was seeing some of that. So okay, now that we got that squared away, that's
Thank you, Tanner. That's
that
why
makes
we
a
bring
lot
you
more
on the
sense.
show.
Yeah, thank you.
I get confused easily.
Appreciate you.
Hey, not a problem. Look, I've been. I tell you what, Ryan, that's gonna be real important coming up in a couple of weeks' time to know that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But looking at obviously the crew that you guys got working that game, excited to see you guys in action. But you also got Kevin Arnold joining you of the Cleveland Crunch, and obviously that's an organization that's been around for a long time. But he does stuff with the Cavaliers radio as well, so he's really involved in the Cleveland area. You ever have a chance to work with Kevin before? You ever gotten the chance to be on air with him?
I tell you what, not yet, but that is incredibly exciting. I also have seen some of ESPN Cleveland, but he is the voice of the Cleveland Crunch, and their fans are, his biggest fans in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The support that everyone gives. I first, was kind of looking for partners and talking with Bossman about sort of, hey, guys, how are we going to manage this whole finals thing? It's a lot of games in a short amount of time. And that was the very first name that came to mind. I thought, wow, if we want to make this, like knock on wood here, an all-star team, it's like it's got to have Kevin Arnold in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So Tanner, saw that the playoff structure came out the other day in terms of the playoffs for the women's and the men's side. You have 1 seeds playing 2 seeds, 1 seeds playing 2 seeds as well. But they're like flip-flop divisions, correct? Do you like
that's
the
right.
format?
You're gonna have I do. I think the fact that you can have 2 teams from the same conference meet is great, but you don't have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So looking forward to, on the men's and women's side, we'll start off on the men's side. And I know there's not a lot you can say that hasn't already been said about the teams in the field that we've talked about. We've talked about Toronto and just how complete of a roster that is. We've talked about Amarillo and just how much of a good contender they could be to win it. And obviously Cleveland themselves have looked really impressive with their 8 wins and just 2 losses on the year. But when you look at the format, like we just talked about that Ryan brought up, and what the field looks like, just general expectations from your end going into this.
I think we expect, obviously, that Toronto's going to hold on to that number 1 spot. That South Conference number 2 spot is so interesting because of the clips that we're watching here. That Salt Lake City and Amarillo game just kind of shook everything up. Salt Lake City now has to get 2 total points across 2 matches to get in over Orlando.
Wow.
There's a time Orlando's won, and they were sitting absolutely pretty, and then bottom of the table, Dallas takes them down and kind of beats them down. And Orlando's thinking, how did we get here at 7-5 as they've already polished off their regular season? Amarillo probably thought they were going to be able to go undefeated too. It's, they're still locked in. They're still going to be that South 1 seed. But the fact that Salt Lake has that easy kind of a path, you got to win still, or at least get, you could even get a couple of overtime losses in there. But nonetheless, it's unbelievable what happened in that South. We just assumed for so long it was going to be Orlando, and then this one singular match, 11-10, by the way, fantastic match with kind of a buzzer beater from Salt Lake City, shakes up the entire South, and we're like, oh, never mind. Now we kind of are almost certain it's going to be Salt Lake City getting in. And then once you get into that tournament, frankly, because of the cross-play, because if you're going to cross-conference, it's up for grabs.
Tanner, look over on the women's side real quick. Phoenix Pulse, obviously they're already in the playoffs along with Salt Lake City, but they Phoenix that is, seems to just can't get over the hump against a team like Salt Lake City. What do they have to do maybe differently come playoff time where they can finally knock off a number 1 seed? They beat a whole bunch of teams below them, but they just haven't gotten over the hump on the number 1 seed. They were leading Salt Lake City at one point. I think it was last weekend or 2 weekends before, but they just can't get over the hump. What do they have to do?
So consider the matchup that they're likely to have with Chicago, right? In all likelihood, that's going to be your matchup.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think that's because Salt Lake City's already got head-to-head over Phoenix with a sweep for the season.
Yeah.
And have we figured out the formula for beating the Chicago Mustangs, WMLIS? Frankly, no. Not yet, right? That club still, I mean, you hate to say it, right? And you laugh about it, but that club still hasn't lost yet, and we're almost an entire 2 seasons in. I think maybe this upcoming weekend's games might show, because it's supposed to be the last weekend of the regular season for WMLIS, and you have Fort Wayne, who's got 3 cracks at Chicago still left on the schedule. If they somehow kind of figure it out, if they, for the very first time ever, beat the Chicago Mustangs, then maybe you kind of look at what happens in that game. You do have defending goalkeeper of the year over there with Fort Wayne, Carmen Swigard. She rolled her ankle in the very first quarter, though, last weekend against Kalamazoo. Missed most of that game. Reserve keeper comes in. Kalamazoo makes it a really, really close match. Ends up going all the way down to 1 goal, and it was a 9-8 finish. And shout out to the Kalamazoo captain and owner there, Jessica Kennedy, burying a free kick to trim that to 1. And I got to talk to her about that, and she said, at this point, 2-goal match, it was something like 7 minutes left. She's like, I just got to shoot this. And then she buries it on the defending goalkeeper of the year. That's one of those, it's an incredibly, and it probably should be an incredibly closely monitored situation, where if Swigard's not able to go in that one, then the goalkeeper kind of becomes a question mark for Fort Wayne, and then you'd say, I have no idea what the formula is to beat Chicago. And that could be where Phoenix is too, unless we kind of see that Phoenix team that showed up in Las Vegas in our Vegas weekend on the February 7th and 8th weekend, because they were so fast. They were so just running laps around other teams, and they went undefeated in that Vegas weekend, and we all went, oh, well, maybe actually Phoenix is going to be the class of the West.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put you on the spot here for the men's and women's side. We'll start off with the men's. Yes. Give me your dark horse.
Okay. It's, oh boy. I want to say that Salt Lake City is very, very balanced on attack. I know that they are. I know that they are.
Mm-hmm.
But your two best defensive teams, and I think this really isn't up for a ton of debate, are Toronto and Amarillo. And I think if I have to pick one, I've been saying that Amarillo is the best defensive team in MLIS. It's just whether it be injuries, whether it be individual one-on-one matchups on the pitch that play out whatever, somebody at some point is not going to play up to their standard. Somebody is going to be surprised. And the most surprising team on the men's side, I think, or the team that has the chance to surprise people most, then it's got to be Salt Lake City, because you know exactly what you're getting from our other three top clubs. You know Toronto's got an unbelievable keeper. You know that they're so technically sound. You know Cleveland will just absolutely beat you up. You know that they have most of the all-time scoring and assist leaders and are some of the most physical. And you know that Amarillo is positively suffocating defensively. I mean, you just can't get up goals on them, and their goal differential is ridiculous. Then with Salt Lake City, question marks. But if they go all up and down and around and run people out, gas people out, then they've got to be the dark horse on MLIS side. With the women's league,
yeah,
go for it.
No. That's sorry. I was just going to be what about the other
ask
side?
The women's side.
Yeah.
Right.
Again.
So, yeah, I think it's got to be Phoenix. I've thought about it. We still are waiting for the top spot in the East to shake out again between Fort Wayne and New Jersey with WMLIS. But neither of those clubs do I see getting them through, or do I see them getting through against Salt Lake City women's side? I don't. I think it is as likely as anything that both Chicago and Salt Lake City meet in that final undefeated. Now, let's say that doesn't happen, right? Let's say something crazy or weird happens. Phoenix keeper Melissa Avendano, that's a name to watch. And
She was good.
when you get shutouts, when you stack up shutouts, even you have two of them across the season, you start to wonder, now you can't expect that in a final, but I mean, when it's a really, really low scoring contest, Chicago kind of wants to play that kind of game, but what if you beat them at their own game? What if you are so, in your own, your defending half, but you just do it so well and you're so heavy on possession? What if you kind of run out the clock and you force Chicago to foul you, and at some point in that really low scoring contest, you've got a chance to win it at the end? I think
My man's talking like Herb Brooks. We got to play their game. We're going to throw their game right back in their face. He might beat us 9 out of 10 times, but Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's hilarious. This is why they play the games, all right? If we assume that we think we're going to know what happens, I tell you guys, every single weekend, I'm wrong when I think I know what's going to happen. Everybody else is going to be wrong about something at some point, too, when we get to these semifinals and finals.
It's also why we love March Madness. No one knows what's going to happen either. Question back on the WMLIS side, which, by the way, I thought Justice Smith was unbelievable this past weekend for Phoenix. Scored a hat trick. But we still have a playoff spot up for grabs between Fort Wayne and New Jersey. However, New Jersey does not play this weekend, but Fort Wayne happens to play Chicago. Do we see a realistic chance that Fort Wayne can at least try to get a couple of results and maybe push for that final playoff spot over there on the women's side?
My gut feeling says there's a way that they make noise. Last season, just a 6-match regular season, keep that in mind, right? They had the only overtime match. It's still in the history of WMLIS. They pushed, that was in the regular season, and they pushed Chicago all the way to an unbelievable 8-7 finish in last year's inaugural women's final. There is some way that it can be done. There's no such thing as invincible clubs. There's no such thing as unbeatable clubs. I don't know what that's going to take, but the only thing you can think is you have to accumulate 4 total points across 3 matches with Chicago. That's been the obstacle in front of them, and the math has been clear enough on it. And New Jersey has been sitting at home for quite a while. And my gut says that there's a way to do it, but you probably have to get one regulation win in there somewhere. That is probably the most difficult part. The math is clear, though. 4 points total across 3 games.
Well, Tanner, we appreciate you obviously as always stopping on. Really excited about that championship and getting to see you guys in action. Just want to ask this as like an overview for the year, because I know that obviously this league is still in its infancy. Just impressions and your reaction from what a success this season has been in the MLIS and the WMLIS. And I guess, what are you looking forward to the most as you guys continue to build this product?
What I'm looking forward to the most is super easy. I'm going to start with that. It's the expansion. It's how big this can get, how quickly. I know that people are going to be shocked by it. I know that we're going to be shocked by it, by the calls that we're getting all the time from teams all over the place, everywhere. You say, oh, you want to field a team in our league for next year? And all these commitments and all these really productive conversations that we have all the time with likely incoming clubs. So expansion is the number one thing I'm excited about. I think that in terms of the biggest successes that we've had this year, I'm still very partial to the YouTube channel. We're nearing 150,000 there. Like I said, I set that channel.
Wow.
I set the channel up and I manage it, and it's like my baby. I have to see it succeed. That has been it's just been such a pleasure to run that channel, and most of these games look really awesome, and they're all centralized to one location, so you grow that subscriber base and you get those recurring regular viewers. Those are so crucial. You get, over 1 million impressions just on YouTube so far, and that is so rewarding, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for kind of a more nascent league, especially on the WMLIS side, to be located on a channel where your games get 1 million impressions across less than a full season, that means a lot to me. That's incredible. And then I think beyond that, it's just the pure entertainment value. Whether you're going or whether you're watching from home, whether the game's 3,000 miles away or you're sitting in the stands, the entertainment value has been unreal, and it's all due to our players, our owners, our coaches putting together unbelievable soccer clubs.
Yeah, never a dull moment. I think we can certainly say that here on the National Soccer Network. So Tanner, as always, man, we appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. Nate, Ryan, have a good one.
Yes, sir. We'll see ya. It's Indoor Insights. Here with Tanner White. And yeah, I mean, I would say it's been a really successful year. It's been fun watching you call those games too, and going to continue to build. And I think it's good because they have an entertaining product, and clearly one that's unpredictable and fast, and everything else in between. Appreciate Tanner as always stopping by, though. When we come back here on the National Soccer Network, we'll continue our soccer conversation. Going to talk about the Norwegian fishing town that took down one of the championship's most powerful sides. Are you muted, my guy? I believe you're muted at the moment.
Sorry, I was chewing food.
The mic. Oh,
we're really late. So let's talk about Barcelona Academy. We're almost at the hour part. So let's talk about Barcelona.
Cool. Works with me. Barca Academy is a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song "Grown" on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
The National Soccer Network presents the MLIS and WMLIS Finals weekend. 8 teams battling for a championship at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't miss the excitement March 28th and 29th as the top indoor soccer teams compete for the title. Watch every match live and exclusively on the National Soccer Network.
And welcome back in here on Inside the Game on NSN. Close again on the 10 o'clock hour here in our show. We just got Indoor Insights with Tanner White. Welcome back in here on the National Soccer Network. Let's get into our next part of our conversation here today. And we talked about Noah Kai Banks leaning towards Germany already. Also, we talked to Tanner White. Ryan, this next part of the conversation, I guess, is one of the things that makes the game beautiful. And I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the club per se, but a
Bodo?
Norwegian fishing town. Is it Bodo? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Bodo / GLIMT.
Yeah, I've never everyone just says Bodo, so I don't even know
It's
how
just
to pronounce that one
Bodo?
either. Yeah, just Bodo.
Okay. Delivering a Champions League fairy tale. And they're turning into one of the more feel-good stories in football right now. Obviously, Wrexham, another one of them, but toppling Europe's biggest clubs in its first ever season. But they ended up taking down a pretty big side. So go ahead and set the scene first, Ryan.
Yeah, just this little town. That's just Nate's gonna get all he's gonna feel really good about this because it is to think
Feel
of this
good, you know?
real
Hey.
quick. College football teams and some college football teams and some college basketball teams have bigger transfer budgets on players than this team does. They only have $5 million to spend every summer. They have $5 million to spend, and this is the underdog Nate likes. So when you give it to him, he's gonna like it. He's gonna like it a lot. I can tell. But basically, this team who beat Man City earlier this year in the league phase, who beat Atletico Madrid, who beat Inter Milan in a home and away rather, and they're up 3-0 on Sporting right now in the round of 16. Which, if Arsenal gets through, this is who we're playing in the quarterfinals, which I'm completely fine with. To be honest with you, we'll take care of them. No issue.
You don't want the team of destiny, man. That's not the team you want to face.
Loyola Chicago ran into Michigan in the Final Four, and that was fine.
Yeah, but they got to the Final Four, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but we ran into the team of destiny and we beat them.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I love the faith you got, man. I'm just saying, you've been paranoid about having faith in your team.
We'll beat them.
Now you're all in. All right, okay.
If we're already 1-1 right now with Leverkusen, if we get through, we're going to be fine.
Cinderella scare the hell out of me, man. I'm just saying. But
we've
right.
had smaller sides in the Champions League, and we have won 7-2 before in 2 legs. So I think our Ted and the boys will take care of these guys. But this is what I'm just saying. This is a small fishing town, which I think they said is like 70 miles off of the capital, Oslo. In Norway. Like there is
north.
They said northern Norway.
They're above the Arctic Circle.
They can't physically have a grass field. I don't think people realize that. They cannot have a grass field because and everyone in soccer you have to have grass field. Like you have to have a grass field. Like we can't have turf, we can't have artificial. That's what everyone hates. But Bodo's like, guys, we physically can't have a grass field. We have to have turf. Like there's no way we can't have it. And it kind of creates a little bit of a home field advantage in a way because no one actually plays on turf anymore. That's playing in the Champions League and all that stuff. Like this team also hasn't played a league game since November because of the cold. Like they physically can't play cold games in Norway. Like they can't have a home game rather. So all of a sudden they're beating these giants. And these players, you must think, oh, well, they must be on the Norway team, like the Norway men's national team. Let me tell you something. They don't. There's 2 players on this team that are from. There's a handful. I think there's like 15 plus Norwegians on this team, and only 2 of them actually play for the national team for Norway, which is just crazy to think about. And then also, I wanted to say this too because I was in this article. This is hilarious to me. Fighter pilot brings belated success to Bodo. Founded in
I saw that.
1916, they had to wait more than a century before becoming a Norwegian champion for the first time. The team had just been relegated to Norway's second tier, being an elevator club, which means promoted, going down, like just going back and forth between the leagues. And then where is it at? Then they get again, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but he gets brought to bring it to be the backroom staff and help who. This is crazy to me, man. This guy was in charge of his like bombing unit in the military on like creating like mental techniques for like the group or whatever, like what they're about to do,
Mental
like in
coach,
the wars and
yeah.
stuff. So then they bring him to the team, and now like all of a sudden this whole mentality changes with Bodo. And I think that's sick, man. I think that's so awesome that like you have a war guy, doing this. Like I think that's great. And let's see, yeah, there's only 2 Norwegian teams that have been called up, and it's just crazy to think.
Do you ever feel like training back in the day was like basic training for soccer? Some of the conditioning felt like basic training. Two-a-days certainly felt that way for football. At least they tried to take it that way.
We would run. See, my coach always thought, because we would run a mile or a couple miles, but our coach always thought that the way you build fitness is through playing games and sprints back and forth, like scrimmaging and like short-sighted stuff. Because like, yeah, you can go for a 2-3 mile run and have no issue, but at the same time, you're playing.
But you're not cutting and you're not going left and
Exactly, like,
right. You're not making stops. Right.
When you're doing that, you're not actually
Yeah.
like you're not actually having fitness. Like, yeah, you can run a long time.
It's not
like,
using
Like, sure.
everything. Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, like you're looking at it and it's like, well, then you play 30 minutes in a game and you're already winded. Like that's so
Yeah.
we would do some running
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
but ultimately we would just play games or scrimmage, I should say, or like play short-sighted stuff, and that was, I think, a good form of fitness as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. I'm back to Bodo. I just think it's crazy to think that a team like of all the teams that are in the Champions League right now, you think of a Real Madrid, you think of a Bayern Munich, you think of Barca, you think of Man City. These guys have billionaire owners. Arsenal too. That's why I don't like the Rams. Like billionaire owners, like all that stuff. Yet this team is just with the town. Like this is basically like if Wrexham were to get into the Champions League. That's basically what this is. And I know the conditions aren't as crazy. But I mean, Wrexham probably has more money, but not crazy amounts of money compared to the other clubs. But like, it's just crazy to think that like a town of this many people. It's like if Shelby Township had a team, and all of a sudden they're winning. They're in the U.S. Open Cup, and they're in the quarterfinals taking on Inter Miami. Like,
I mean,
that's
I
cool.
imagine it would be like something comparable to like if Alaska had a team, and like that or something. Because like I'm thinking about like the weather conditions, like with it being the way that it is, and I mean, you really only get in that area of Norway 3 months of like decent weather. Outside of that, I mean, you're playing in at best 35 degrees. Now I'm sure they measure it in Celsius over there, or Celsius. Celsius. But we're Fahrenheit here. But I mean, it would be freezing for the rest of the year. So yeah, I mean, man, it's like tough, gutsy, like all that stuff.
I forgot to mention
Absolutely.
this. You know what's also funny? Champions League stadiums have a seating capacity of you have to have a minimum of 8,000 seats. Bodo has 8,000 seats in their stadium. So they just meet the requirement. That's the smallest stadium in the Champions League. That's just like you watch sometimes Europa League games and Conference League games, like you see like Bodos everywhere. Like that's like the norm in the Conference League and the Europa League. And more the big stadiums are kind of like the outliers. But to do this in the Champions League, I mean, again, I don't think they go all the way. I don't think they win it all or anything. I don't think they get past the quarterfinals. I think Arteta and the boys will take care of them anyway.
Love it. Love the confidence.
At the same time, though, there's a weird thing with Arsenal. They hate, like, you can tell when there's like a good story, they absolutely hate it and want to just destroy it. So I think they'll beat them. But no, this is. I just think it's a good story. I think it's a good story to show because like that's what soccer is all about, and this is what the U.S. Open Cup's about too. Like, not to like compare the Champions League to the U.S. Open Cup, but think of a side like Flint City. They're in the USL 2, 4th division. Then you have Forward Madison, who I think is in USL League 1, so a couple divisions ahead of them, and they're playing. And Flint City's got a home game, so that's just what I like about everyone likes a Cinderella, and I do to an extent, but. I personally think if there's one Cinderella every single year and that's it, like we just have one Cinderella, because at the end of the day, you still want to see the best teams play the best teams. But if you can get one Cinderella, and the Champions League always seems to spawn in one Cinderella every like 3 years for whatever reason, Ajax a couple of years ago, then I think it's fine. And I think that if this was a tournament of all Cinderellas, of all Bodos, I wouldn't be too inclined to watch the other games.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to see a Cinderella here and there.
It adds to the sport. It makes it more exciting. It makes the storyline more, more alluring to those people who want to watch. It's why we love sports. And I mean, to really kind of overgeneralize it in a way, which that's exactly what it is. And the squad itself has seen a big financial boom. I mean, from 2017 to last year, I mean, they had around 40 employees at 4.2 million. I think that was in 2017. So $5 million US budget. But last year, I think the club's revenue was 80 million, so 93 million converted, boosted by making more than 26 million euros. But compare that to the rest of the teams that they're playing against, it's still not even in the same
You know what's crazy?
right? So, what's up?
We talked about college football teams having more money to spend. Texas high school football stadiums seat more than this stadium.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to think about.
It is. No, it absolutely is. And I remember flying over Texas to, I was going down to Laredo, so I had to fly to Dallas and then Dallas to Laredo, and flying over all these
Where's Laredo
stadiums
at?
and every single.
Never heard of it.
Laredo is south. It's the second southernmost town in Texas. It's right on the border with Mexico.
Okay.
So Texas A&M International is down there. I wanted to be a sports information director for 5 minutes, so I was accepting interviews and doing stuff like that. It's
SID. Okay. SIDs do a lot of work. They don't get a lot of love. They got to deal with my emails all the time.
Yep. And I thought that maybe I could do SID and broadcasting, but typically it doesn't end up working out that way because you got so many things to do anyways.
Typically, I've seen people do sideline reporting and SID. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But I think doing
it is.
play-by-play and SID, man, you're just asking for
that's what I'm saying. It's
um,
not a fun existence, if you will. Yeah. So, but anyways, flying down there, I mean, football stadium after football stadium, and I'm thinking there's a lot of Texas colleges, probably college stadiums. No, I get there and they're like, no, those are all high school stadiums. Once you got past where the Cowboys play, everything else on the way here, it's all high school. So it's nuts. It's crazy, but that's just the culture down there. But I will say, I think people get too caught up in stadium size, because I even saw that comment on our USL VMLS video the other day. People are like, well, no USL side will ever fill out a 75,000 seat stadium. It's okay, I get it,
point.
But
the league's also
that's not the point of what we're trying to get at. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, if you bring,
do MLS sides sell out their whole stadiums? No. Maybe for Messi. Why do you think?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you bring Messi to the table. Obviously, you're gonna sell it out. Bring Messi to the mall, and the place is gonna overrun. Anywhere you bring the guy, it's gonna So I don't really get into the whole. Well, they'll never be able to fill out a stadium that size. That's not really the point of what we're trying to get at here. But anyways, getting back to Bodo. Yeah, very very inspiring story. I would consider it on par with a Wrexham, and I think that would be the matchup that people would want to see is Bodo v Wrexham. That's I think the one that everybody wants to see there. So, but let's hope the boys Arsenal can take care of them if it comes.
Oh yeah, they will.
All right. Just saying, man. I like the confidence. I like it. I like it a lot. But when we come back here on Inside the Game, we'll tell you a little bit about Man City first, but we want to talk about some Major League Soccer, our top 10 young prospects in Major League Soccer. Ryan's got that list for us. We're going to go one by one through that. But first, let's tell you, Man City Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30. Scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you, usacamps.mancity.com. Back in live in your living room, in your car, in your workplace, wherever you are, in the cubicle, on a lake somewhere, fishing.
I highly doubt that.
Highly doubt that they're out fishing and listening to us. I would do that personally.
Right now
don't
you
know.
wouldn't. Which
Well, not here. Maybe they're in Florida. Maybe they're in Florida or Louisiana. The Bayou. If you're listening to us from the Bayou, hello. I can't do a Louisiana accent. I got a buddy who can do a really good Ed Orgeron impersonation, and that is
all I gotta do is talk like
just
this.
Tigers.
Anyway,
When he yells at those during his press conference, when he yells at those dudes, that's the funniest scene of all time. Stop playing the game. I'm doing a press conference. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, we just gave away 4 tickets to Ken. So Ken, you will be going.
Dog,
to...
I can't hear the buzzer, man. I don't know, or the horn. I don't know if it's not playing through or what. Maybe if it's on mute or something. Thing's gonna blow my ears out the minute. Oh yeah, there we go. Heck yeah, let's do it.
So Ken, 4 tickets. Here you go. He said maybe we take him out, we'll be at the stadium. Maybe we can ship them to you. I'll have to ask John on exactly how you are getting these, but yes, 4 tickets. We'll be at the game anyway. Even if they, I don't know if they can't get in time, but yeah, boom, 4 tickets. You and he said who he's going with. Let's see. He said he's going with his friend from Lansing Common, Rufus Isaacs, also going with him. Did not mention the other 2, but hey, hopefully you and Rufus have a good time at the game. Hopefully we see you there. And also, thank you for tuning into the show. I'm not going to lie, Nate. When we did this thing, I thought, okay, maybe I'll have to make a video myself of sitting here like, hey, just DM us if you want, all this stuff. Like, if you guys want tickets. And then, boom, all I see is Ken wants to send you messages. And I'm like, okay, sweet. But boom, tickets.
Yeah.
Going his way. I will set them aside, give them to John here right after the show. But boom, 6 more tickets to go. So if there's only 6 tickets, if anyone else wants to go to the game, they're leaving quickly. I didn't think we would, after 1 hour of announcing this thing, we'd have almost half the inventory gone. But there you go.
It's awesome. Yeah, appreciate you, Ken. He also says, "Is that Nathan?" ? Or quote the other guy. I guess the other guy works if you want to call me the other guy. That works for me. But he says, "I appreciate you guys doing this daily. I used to be able to sneak an hour of you guys at work, but just too hectic at work right now, man. We get it. We will any amount of time you can spend on the show to hang out. Yeah, if you take the time to do it, you take the time to do it. So we appreciate your tutelage.
And if you missed any segments, just head over to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you can always rewind it there, or if you just want to look at specific segments, we do that every single day anyway. So if you miss anything, you can always head over there.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you dropping in, Ken. Let's get into the next part of our conversation here. I know we wanted to chat a little bit Major League Soccer, some of the young stars in our top league here in the United States. We have a list of our top 10 in Major League Soccer. And here is a look at that list.
You're going to see a theme here on one team and one team only. But all these players are actually eligible to play in the 2028 not World Cup. 2028 When's the 2028 Olympics. Okay. Whew. That was hard there. 2028 Olympics. They can all these players can play. Starting off with Matthew Dos Santos, who actually for some reason has played in all 3 games so far this year in the MLS for the Red Bulls, but it's also a part of their movement with Michael Bradley, left back, and especially left back is kind of a position of need, I guess we could say, like in terms of depth, I guess that makes sense. Like we feel like Jedi, but he's always hurt all the time. Arvston, that's really about it that I can think of. Whatever. Okay. Then in number 9 from San Diego FC, Pedro Soma. He actually played in Spain for a while there, played for FC Barcelona Academy, but then eventually has made his way back. He actually left here at the age of 12. Pedro, he left at the age of 12, and now he's back with San Diego FC. Looking over at number 8, I don't like this guy already. When I was doing this list, he's from Columbus, Ohio. Taha Hebron from the
Yeah,
Columbus Crew.
yep.
I know we got the For the Crew podcast on the network, so check out their videos and episodes weekly, by the way. I don't like him already. He's from Columbus, Ohio. He's a hometown kid. No, this is just
Yeah.
no. And I guess he's also been a big part of the Olympic squad, or in the U20, so he could be a big part of the Olympic squad. And then number 7, Johnny Shore, NYCFC. And I will say this: New York City FC, Loki has an underrated academy system. You think of guys like Christian Pulisic were in there for a second.
Yeah.
Gio Reyna was in there for a second. Then they'll both go to Dortmund. So New York City FC haven't produced any recently, but they've got a history of it. And what's impressive about this guy, 18 years old, 33 games played last year. That doesn't mean he started all 33, but 33 games he played in last year as a 17/18-year-old. Like that's just impressive at that young of an age to do that in a league where you're playing against you're playing against guys that are 10, 12 years older than you. Like that's truly impressive. And maybe he can make his way to Europe at some point. Nico Sakaris from San Jose, a CDM. He is actually
Definitely a silent T.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Definitely a silent T on that one. Yeah.
Sakura, I don't know. He has actually been, let's see what he says. Yeah, he's been very good with the US U20s team, but hasn't done a ton yet with the San Jose Earthquakes. Still trying to break into the team fully, but for the US U20 team, he's been phenomenal. Number 5 from also San Diego FC, a left back, 19 years old, Luca Bombino. We talked about left back depth, and that's a position of need in terms of depth. Bombino, he also played in 33 games last year. He's already played in 5 games in 2026, including some friendlies is what they counted on this list. Number 4, Xavier Gazzo from Real Salt Lake. He's a forward. He can play both wings, and he can play a striker. So I just put forward down for his position.
Yeah.
But he performed in the US U20 World Cup, which lost to Morocco. No shocker there. But shout out to him. He played in a handful of games. He's actually 18 right now. He's 19 at the end of the month. So that's my bad. So he's still 18. But everyone likes his IQ. This one, Julian Hall, New York Red Bulls, again, part of the youth movement. He scored 3 goals in his first 2 games this season. We highlighted him not too long ago. Center forward. I mean, there's a couple of people that said this about him. They're like, they're not impressed with him. He's a poacher. Dude, he puts the ball in the back of the net. I don't care how it ends up. We said this all the time with Arsenal. Like, they score corners, but did they score goals and win games? Yeah. Which, by the way, they're one of 6 teams in Europe to score over 100 goals. Just saying out there for all the people that are hating on us for scoring corners all the time. But Julian Hall, that's a good one for him. I mean, I don't care how you score a goal. You score a goal, you score a goal. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. Then his teammate in the center mid, Adri Mehmeti, he actually had a really good debut as well. He's assisted Julian Hall a couple of times. But again, part of the New York Red Bull youth movement with Bradley. You're going to hear us say that throughout the whole season. And then number 1, Kevin Sullivan. Really not much more to say about this kid, except I'd like to see him play a lot this season. I hope for Philadelphia Union. I really hope that he gets to play a ton. But again, future's still bright. Still at the age of 18. He's already got it in his contract. He'll be heading over to Manchester City. But no, I think the future is really bright with this kid. I think he's a stud. Just really hope he doesn't become one of those guys of like so much high potential, but doesn't pan out in the end. I still think he's an unbelievable player, and I hope he can turn out for us.
Yeah, and I get the only question is burnout, right? The only question is, can his legs hold up? Like the talent is out of the question when it comes to Kevin Sullivan. And we know what the kid can do on the pitch. We know how he can control play and how he scores and how he really demands the field, the pitch rather, when he's on it. So there's so much to love about him. The only question is, again, when we talk about him being at 16 and now being at the level that he's at, is there burnout? So that's always the biggest question, but a lot of good names on there. You know, Xavier Gazzo, goal and an assist in 3 matches. You're talking about Julian Hall. What a good start for him, man. 3 goals in 3 matches to begin the year here in 26. Yeah, that's a pretty explosive start to the year. Adri Mehmeti, you talked about a couple of assists, and obviously Kevin Sullivan, what we've seen out of him the past few years. So really those top 5 including Bombino. I know I didn't really mention him. Is a really, really strong group. And so, in terms of what that next crop of the young youth U.S. men's national team players, what that group is going to look like, maybe not in 2030 necessarily. It could be in 2030. I could realistically see a lot of these players breaking in 2030, but maybe 2034. And I don't want to look 8 years ahead when we already have the World Cup coming up here in 2026. And I think it's realistic to get excited with some of the progress we've seen from the young ones. And that's not even mentioning the ones that are playing overseas right now, in the Alex Freemans of the world, who are just past that 20-year-old cutoff, which Freeman is over 20, isn't he? What, like 21 or maybe 20 on the dot, something like that. So, no, it's a really good grouping.
Would like him to play a little bit more for Villarreal, but
Sullivan's definitely number one on that list, in my opinion. So, but to look at our top 10 youngsters, our young Americans in Major League Soccer. When we come back here on the National Soccer Network, we're finally going to get into some of our all sports talk. Miami of Ohio falling in the Mid-American Conference tournament to number 8 seeded UMass. This was the nightmare scenario. This was the nightmare fuel that we were talking about when we mentioned Miami of Ohio and their undefeated season. It's not an automatic guarantee that they're going to get into the tournament. Reasons for, reasons against. We'll talk more on that coming up next for our all sports section here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Inside the Game rolls along, hour number 2 here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Linsky. Let's get into our all sports talk. Better late than never here at 10:20 on Inside the Game. Miami of Ohio falling yesterday in the Mid-American Conference tournament against UMass, the number 8 seed in the tournament. Kind of reminds you of Michigan when they won the Big Ten tournament when they were, I believe, an 8 seed in that tournament. This was the scenario that we talked about that was nightmare fuel for Miami of Ohio. Because even after winning all of your games in the regular season, the one thing that followed this team, Ryan, is that your strength of schedule is 344 out of 365. And listen, I understand you're a MAC team, so only so much of that can you really control. Only so much of that can you really, because the teams that you play during the regular season, especially in conference play, are not top-end teams. No offense to the MAC, no offense to my friends over at Central Michigan and Andy Bronkema, who I know is going to turn that program around, but you're not playing against the top talent in the country. So where does that matter? Well, it matters in the non-conference schedule. I mean, I just did an Oakland game, right? I just did the opening game of the Horizon League tournament. Obviously, they lost that one in Northern Kentucky, but if there was ever a question, and if Oakland won some of the games or got better bounces down the line than what they did, even if they won a couple of games in the tournament, didn't win it all, there'd be more of an argument for a team like Oakland, because look at their non-conference schedule. Look at the teams they played. I mean, Michigan State, Michigan. I mean, it was everybody all the time during the non-con. Miami of Ohio didn't push themselves that way. And so, yes, you won all of your games, but, you won all your games against teams that, aren't really in the fight, aren't really notable. And so you got all the way to the end.
That you factor into the Oakland non-conference stuff.
That's fair. But, you didn't beat UMass in the tournament. So I don't think it's a guarantee that they get in. However, I know that the concept of a team that won all their games in the regular season not getting into the postseason tournament is bizarre to me. That's weird. That's wild. But anyways, what's your takeaway on this, Ryan?
That they should still get in. I mean, we're going to punish a team for going 31-1, and we're going to benefit a team that went, 17-16 in Auburn? Dude, who cares? Dude,
Yeah, but I mean, if you put Miami of Ohio against that Auburn team, I mean,
Auburn's not good.
Yeah, but I still bet Auburn wins that game, though. I mean, even put them against a decent team from one of the Power 5 conferences. I don't know. I get it, but there's an expectation that if you play in a conference like that, you have to do what you have to do to get in, which oftentimes, more often than not, is win the conference championship game. And I mean, if you can't beat UMass,
they went undefeated in a whole season.
No, I get it. They
went undefeated for 5 months.
Yeah, that's true.
And they dropped one game, so we're gonna just be like, yeah, they can't be in. The metrics even say this came out a month ago. The metrics said if Miami they did the math. If Miami didn't win the conference tournament, they said if they lost one game and then lost in the conference tournament, the metrics still say they get in. But they lost one game in the conference tournament to UMass. They should still get in based on the numbers. Do I think they should maybe get in as an at-large? I could maybe see they couldn't. I think they could be a last four in as a play-in. And if everyone is so up in arms about this team playing in March as an at-large, then put them in a play-in. See what happens. Doesn't really affect anything because nobody watches the Tuesday, Wednesday games anyway unless your team's actually in it. I could care less about the 2 16 seeds playing each other in a play-in. I could care less if the 11 seeds or the 12 seeds are playing in it. I don't care. So instead, let's put Miami. Yeah, you can be in the dance, but you play in the play-in. There's no issue with that because at that point, they get to prove if they should be there or not against the Power 4 school that they might be up against, but they still make the tournament at the same time, and then the MAC still gets 2 teams in, which hasn't happened, I think, since 1999. So at that point, just do that and be done with it. We don't have to have this issue, and everyone can stop complaining, especially Bruce Pearl. The only reason Auburn's in this mess is because of you. You left.
Well, did you hear he changed his tune?
He changed his tune because everyone was ripping on him. And at the same time, the only reason Auburn's in this mess is because you gave the job to your son as a Nepo baby 2 weeks before the season started. It's the only reason Auburn's in this mess. Hey, Bruce, maybe if you gave Auburn a proper coaching search and a proper transfer portal, maybe Auburn wouldn't be in this mess. But the only reason you changed your tune is because you have ties to Auburn. It's almost like you coached there for a handful of years. It's almost like your son's the coach there now that you gave the job to because Auburn had no choice. It's almost like giving the job to Juwan Howard. Michigan had no choice. And then they're in the bubble. That's your fault, Bruce. It's your fault.
Yeah. Yep. You were the one that put it on yourself. But, I mean, yesterday he said, I'm a mid-major guy. I think they should get in. So that seems, maybe it was just in response to people just jumping down his throat.
Tennessee. Do we really take this guy's word for anything? It's Bruce Pearl. He paid his guys at Tennessee. And you're telling me everything at Auburn was legal? No.
Yeah,
I'm not taking Bruce
everybody
Pearl's word on
guys,
anything.
so. No, I so badly want to disagree with you on something on this show because I feel like we haven't had the chance to actually fight at all, which I know is something that people enjoy. But the truth is that it's going to be hard for me to go the opposite.
This is the underdog, Nate.
Because
this
you're
is
right.
People.
No, it's just because they've won every game. Like there is no. Like what other sport, like America is so confusing with its college athletics because there are so many college teams out there and there are so many Division I teams. And even when it comes to like basketball, you even stretch that out more like Incarnate, whatever. It's like, oh yeah, they're Division I. It's like, I've never heard of these guys. Never once in my life have I heard of this team. What do you mean they're Division I? But that's the reality. There's just so many teams. And so, but if you're one of those mid-majors or you're not a Power 5, even if you win all of your games, we're still having this conversation about whether or not you deserve to be in the postseason tournament. That's the craziest thing to me is that and again, I know I talked about it earlier when we mentioned it the first time around about like Florida State and them winning all their games and not getting a chance. Again, it seems weird in hindsight,
football,
but
though.
still,
That's different.
the concept, I know, but it was only a 14 playoff, right? So like you gotta well, what do the metrics show us? Well, they don't have a quarterback. Like they have, SpongeBob back there taking snaps at quarterback, so we shouldn't put him in, right? It's like, but they won every single one of their games. I know football's a different conversation. I get it. But to that way, if you win every single one of your games for 5 months, especially Ryan in college basketball, do you realize how hard it is to win 30 some odd straight games in basketball? I mean, like I would consider that like
The Pistons almost
one of
lost
the
30
more
straight games in basketball.
I mean, I think it's a lot easier to lose 30 straight than maybe it is necessarily to win 30 straight. But like even the best teams on the planet have nights where they can't hit a shot, where they just go out and shoot 25% from three and they can't get anything to fall. And that's what happened the other night against Miami, but it took all the way into the postseason tournament. They lost one game. You're going to just somehow justify that as we're not going to let this team into the tournament? I understand they played cupcakes. I get it. Trust me. They didn't challenge themselves in the non-con. I wouldn't necessarily say that Miami of Ohio
at the same time, the teams
battle
wouldn't play
tested.
them. The big teams wouldn't play them. What are you going to do? Fault the team for that?
I get it. You tell me you can't find one team that wants to play you? One non or a Power 5 squad? I mean, there's got to be one. As a MAC school?
But they went to teams because, Nate, we talked about this. In basketball, as a Power 4 school, there is no reward of playing a mid-major. There's not, because the only reason you schedule Oakland is that outside of Tom Izzo being friends with Greg Campy, and the only reason Michigan schedules Oakland is because they know they're going to win 100%. Miami, Ohio played Michigan last year, and Miami, Ohio was in the game for a half against Michigan.
Yeah.
So if you're a Power 4 school, you see that.
Don't forget when Central Michigan beat them.
Okay, that's Juwan Howard. That doesn't count. And everyone beat Juwan Howard. You get a win. You get a win.
Yeah.
You get a win. That's not a flex.
The Oprah Winfrey show.
That's Nate. That's not a flex. There. That's just everyone.
It's still beating Michigan.
LaSalle. Oh, and that was Will Wade. So that's kind of, who was the other one? McNeese State was Will Wade. McNeese State beat Michigan that same year, or a year after that, and then that same year, what was the other one? LaSalle State beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So everybody was beating Michigan that year. That's not really a flex at that point. You're basically playing a mid-major, but there is no reward for if Michigan were to play Miami, Ohio. There's no reward to it, because if you win, so what? You beat a quad 2 or 3 team. It doesn't move the needle for anything. But if you lose, that's a horrible loss on your resume. So if you're at a Power 4 school trying to play Michigan, or trying to play Miami, Ohio, there's no reward in this thing, because you don't get a benefit. Like, the benefit of you winning compared to the consequence of you losing is way greater than the win. So there's no point in it.
Yeah.
And also, I want to go back to Wichita State, who was a 1 seed back in 2014, who went undefeated the whole year, lost to Kentucky in the round of 32, which I picked on my bracket, by the way. I was very impressed with my my prediction. They played two Power 5 schools at the time. So Alabama, who was trash at basketball, they won by 5. And then they beat Tennessee, who made the tournament and went 70-61. Is St. Louis Big East? I guess DePaul is.
Yeah.
DePaul would have been Big East, but they're always trash. BYU, I don't know what conference they would have been in back then. But, like, you get the point. Like, Wichita State was a 1 seed, and they didn't have that crazy hard of a schedule. Like, look at Gonzaga every year. They don't play anybody crazy, besides in the non-conference when they lose to everybody. But the point is, I think also at the same time about the same thing, is if this was year 3 of Miami, Ohio, making a tournament or having 30 wins or 28 plus wins, whatever, I don't think we have a conversation. We don't have a conversation about that at all, because reputation for these mid majors are the biggest thing. Because if because if like Cincinnati, for example, when they were, what was that, American Conference, when they made the college football playoff, they were good for 3 years. And then they finally went undefeated in the last one, and they finally got in, which gave Alabama a fight, by the way. But for these mid-majors, I don't understand why, but you have to, I mean, I do understand why, but you have to be good for 3 years, 4 years to kind of really get that benefit of the doubt. And Miami, Ohio does not have that. They do not have that benefit of the doubt yet. And I think that if they did this next year, the same thing of going 31-1 or 30-2, I think they get in as an at-large. But I still think they deserve to get in. I mean, can't punish a team for going 31-1. I mean, if we're gonna give Wichita State a 1 seed after going 35-1, like if this was Kentucky undefeated, yeah, they'd still be a 1. But Wichita State got a 1 seed, a 1 seed, and they lost in the second round. So I don't see the issue why they shouldn't get in. I still think they should get in as like a 12 or a play-in as 11. That's what they should do.
Yeah. Yep. Background, reputation, all of that certainly factors into it. And so, no, if you win every game during the regular season, I don't care what sport it's in. I don't care what league it's in. I don't care where you are. You deserve to make the playoffs. You deserve to make the postseason and have an opportunity to make a run.
How about directional Michigan being D1? Oh, he's probably talking about Central. Yeah, I don't know. We're trash at basketball.
Directional Michigan?
We're trash.
Well, there's 3 directional Michigans. There's Central directional.
There's like 4.
Western directional.
Northern Michigan still exists.
Oh, Northern directional too. Yeah, I mean that's D2. I mean, so obviously different.
So we got.
But have you ever been to Marquette?
No,
random
never
question
plan on it.
What do you mean never plan on it? It's beautiful up there. You got to go to the UP.
Why would I drive 10 hours to be in the same state?
It's gorgeous. That's why. It's essentially Canada
You know what's
Light.
gorgeous, Nate?
Do you like nature?
My backyard. That's gorgeous.
Do you like nature? Your backyard's not nature. I'm sorry. I mean,
There's
it is
grass,
technically, but it's
trees,
not.
There's birds. There's a pool.
Yeah, well, there's no. I guess there's some aminals, but not a lot out there. But, you know, aminals. No, man, go to the UP, man. It's beautiful.
I've been there
do
before.
a little hiking trip.
It's good.
All right,
Bro, I don't
sing.
The
hiking
vacations
boots, you know?
the vacations and trips should be this: the beach and water. That's it. And I ain't going all the way up to Lake Superior where it's freezing to go in the water.
Never done a polar plunge?
No.
Gotta live a little, man. Come on. I did a polar plunge at the top of a mountain once. That was the greatest experience ever.
The greatest experience of jumping into freezing water? All right. You may have to get you may get out of the house a little more, Nate. I'm not gonna lie.
Not an outdoors
Not the
guy.
Whitecaps winning
Ryan
the
Gillespie.
championship? That wasn't the greatest memory?
That was pretty. I didn't say the greatest. I said one of. Is great. The Grand Tetons, which in French stands for big tots. So there you go. Now you know. But moving on to the next part of our conversation, let's take one last break, and then we can get to some hockey. Well, one baseball talk after the hockey game between the U.S. and Canada, and then I want to talk a little bit about Connor McDavid before we get into our question of the day. But all that and more coming up next here on Inside the Game. Welcome back inside the game. It's just the slow pull back in from commercial is always my favorite. Here in hour number 2. Coming up tonight, though, here, not on the National Soccer Network. That'd be sick if it was on the National Soccer Network, but our national baseball team is taking on Canada. It's the rematch between the two countries after the gold medal games between the men's and women's hockey teams. Canada gets their opportunity tonight to make their bounce back against Team USA. Now, let me get this out of the way first, right? There should be no world in which this U.S. team loses. I mean, when you have Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer in your lineup, I get it. I get it. I'm getting to that point, all right? But when that's the reality, you shouldn't lose. But the truth is, with baseball, if you give them one game and if you don't give them a series, anybody can lose on any given day, right? This is why we have
the U.S. in hockey.
That's what I'm saying. But even more than that, I'm going to make this comparison, and I think Canadians will appreciate that. What were we saying before the gold medal men's match between the U.S. and Canada? Well, they have the best team in the world. And even now, I'll still say they still had the best, most talented team in the world. They had Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. But I think there was a level of, arrogance, kind of a pompous attitude with that Canadian team that I think really showed up late in that tournament that I don't think really a lot of people paid attention to. Truth is that you barely survived playing the Czech Republic. It came all the way down to the final 30 seconds for you guys to sneak past the Czech Republic. They're not the only team that Canadian team had struggles with. And so going into that matchup against the U.S. men's national team, everybody knew they were the best team. Everybody knew they had the greatest chance to win. But you watch that overtime period again, and I was listening to some podcasts surrounding that, and, I think it was Brady Tkachuk who said they were all pressing. Like, they were all trying to go one-on-one to win the game in overtime because everybody wanted to be the guy. Everybody wanted to be the hero for Canada. And so they got out of position. They pressed way too hard. And what did the U.S. do? Fortunately, a tap around from Jack is able to get a 3-on-1, and they're able to go out and win the game. But there was this level of, we're just going to go out and dog these guys, and we're just going to go out and win the game. And it put them in a bad position, and it's the reason why they didn't win it. But they were still the most talented team in the world. This baseball team for the U.S. is the most talented team in the world. But that doesn't guarantee the fact that they're going to go out.
Japan. They're not real. They're robots. They're the best. Japan is. They're the best. They're the best. They beat us last time. How can we say we're the best when we lost to them?
Ryan.
How can we say?
I get it. No, they have the most World Baseball Classic championships. I will
Nate,
give
you're not
that
understanding. They are robots. They are not real human beings. How can we
yes,
say
they are.
A human being is better than a robot at a sport? How can we say that? Because if whatever his name is, Sasaki, can do that in the World Series, they're the best because they're not real. And the worst part is we had the worst one in Kenta Maeda, which made no sense. Which, by the way, Schrock says, pour your maple syrup into Lake Michigan or Superior like a version of the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yep.
So
I like it, Schrock.
So you know how Italians hate when you break the pasta? You know that? You know how when Italians hate that?
When you snap it.
So what do Canadians hate in terms of food and drinks? Because you ever see,
they don't have Dr. Pepper, I'll tell you that much. I tried ordering a Dr. Pepper and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So
Dr. Pepper's over.
So all my Dr. Pepper lovers up there,
ass.
they don't have Dr. Pepper. The thing is it's hard for me to bash on Canadian food because the first thing I think of is Tim Hortons, and that's the best coffee place on the planet.
I don't drink coffee.
Well, you should. You're going to when you get a little bit older, get a few years under you, you'll drink it. You'll come to appreciate it.
We got to find out what the Canadians hate because I need to go to a game and just do I pour maple syrup on the ground? Is that what I have to do?
Well, I think the facility would probably hate that.
Ground,
it's not about
do that, but would I have to throw Timbits on the ground?
Probably. Oh, Timbits. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. That is Canadian, isn't it?
Well, it's Tim Hortons, so yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Probably just put a tariff on whatever they're buying at the stadium. I guess if you're Canadian born, I guess that would probably. But no,
we can't.
Off,
okay, back to the point. We can't say we're the best when we lost to them last time, and they're robots over there. We're not robots. They're not real.
That is fair, and they do have the most World Baseball Classic titles. I think part of that is because obviously they take it far more seriously than maybe the U.S. has in previous years. Because I do think there's just
following the
and
Italy
that
loss?
so that circles back to my point, right? That's what's scariest to me about going into this matchup tonight against Canada, because it just strikes me as, and even just looking at the way that this team moves in the U.S., we got to get away from this. We got to get away from this pompous, arrogant way that we play the game. We really do. I mean, I'm looking at Puerto Rico having fun. I'm looking at the Dominican Republic having fun. And people are literally saying this is the loudest we've ever heard these stadiums. I mean, there have been World Series and playoff games played in these places, and they're like, this is the loudest it's ever been. Like, it means something to those dudes. And so whenever anybody's like, oh, the World Baseball Classic, whatever, like I got my own baseball. It's called Major League Baseball. It's like, well, okay, awesome. But like, I think this one means a lot to a lot of people. So I hate this stick up the ass mentality from U.S. baseball. I really don't like it. It's the one thing that I think maybe tonight, talking
Derek
about a
Skubal.
group of Canadians who are, I think that has more to do with contractual obligations than it does necessarily anything else. But
that's basically what it is.
no, it's because Ryan, would you be surprised if I told you that every pitcher in Major League Baseball has a pitch limit for the offseason, in spring training and in season? Like literally all of that is scheduled out for every single pitcher.
Do. But Skubal
Okay, I get it. So
Skubal just makes a show out of it.
Well, he showed up. Okay,
I
they
feel one
wanted
way.
him to pitch, Ryan.
Huh?
They wanted him to pitch. It's not like he showed up late at the party and made him they wanted him to pitch, obviously. I don't know why it was Brazil he had to pitch against. I wish it was Italy,
Britain.
but like to each their own.
That's
But-
why I
or,
loved when
sorry,
he
Great
gave up
Britain.
the first pitch
Great
bomb.
Britain.
I loved that so much. Like just to see Skubal get that, like, dude,
Cheering. You're gonna call me not American for not wanting to wake up and watch a hockey game, but you're cheering for Great Britain to hit a home run off of Tarek Skubal. That's the most un-American thing I have heard all week on this podcast. Cut it, clip it, send it, because you're a commie.
I don't like
so
Skubal.
That's
I don't like Skubal.
that makes you a commie.
He is-
So
he
there you
is
go.
The first, I think Skubal might be the first Detroit athlete I've never liked. Well, I did like Skubal, but this whole offseason is really not. He is the first Detroit athlete I think that I haven't liked. I'm trying to think if
There's not a that tells
See-
me that you're young.
Maybe, well, not for performance. Like, I guess all the other things. Like, yeah, there's
For, like,
probably players I
attitude
don't
stuff.
like
All
because
right.
they're trash. But, like, in terms of everything else, I just haven't really liked. Like, I don't have. Who else is like. I mean, Joe Nathan, I never really liked because he was just buns.
Are we just talking baseball here? I thought
No,
you meant
he's,
like
he's
just
the first one I
Detroit-
thought of.
Detroit sports in general. Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, I liked Sue. I thought he was really good. Like, as much of an asshole as he was, I really liked Sue. I thought he was a great football
Did you see
player.
that recent interview about he was saying that the Lions didn't want him back, that he wanted to come back, but the Lions didn't want him?
It checks out. It's Sheila
don't know if
Ford
he's-
or it's Martha
yeah.
running stuff. Nothing got done.
Yeah.
Kelvin Johnson still didn't get like $1 million until like 2 years ago. So that makes sense.
Jesus.
It's the Lions. They're trash.
But
There's not a Piston that I
I don't know,
dislike
man.
because they're all. I guess I never liked Killian Hayes because he just pissed me off the way he played basketball. How do you airball a floater? Killian?
Yeah.
How do you airball?
How
a
can you
floater?
not? You can only shoot with one hand. You can only use one hand. How did we not figure this out beforehand? Like he'll develop the other hand of it. No, he didn't. He didn't even come close to it. But no. Anyways, all that to be said, game tonight against Canada, big one for US. And man, let's hope they pull it out, because if not, they're gonna give it right back to us the way we gave it to them. And I know maybe a lot of those guys were born in the US, but a lot of them were born in Canada, and they have Canadian blood. And Canada's getting bigger with the game of baseball. Canada continues to improve in that way. So, and they got the psycho that is Josh Naylor. So, that'll be a fun one to watch. But getting into our final topic here today, I just wanted to mention this one quickly, and I'm sure you'll have something to add about it. I know you're not a big hockey guy necessarily, Ryan, but you know some of the storylines, and obviously after watching the Olympics, you know a lot about this. Connor McDavid,
Joke artist.
he's a broken man.
He loses all the time.
There is something that we've seen out of Connor McDavid since the Olympics that, not to say that we haven't seen before, because I think he's always played with an edge, but it's what we call the villain arc, if you will. And the villain origin story, normally in most movies or epics or anything else that you watch, starts with some sort of traumatizing event, or maybe a series of traumatizing events. Not just one, but a slew of them who all have a similar theme. Like they all remind you of one thing, and that's, you're not that. You're not the guy, right? And when I look at Connor McDavid, you're not that guy, pal. But quickest to 100 points, Conn Smythe winner. Multiple trips to the Stanley Cup, and yet you're known by some, and I'm sure the voices in his head probably confirm this, you're Mr. Second Place. You're the bridesmaid, never the bride. Maybe in individual accomplishments, you are the bride, but certainly in team accomplishments, you're not. And last night he had his first career fight, but someone who has been the biggest almost in the game, maybe, getting close to the history of the game. So for Connor McDavid, I think the gold medal game broke him, and we're seeing a level of play out of him that we've never seen before. It did break all of Canada. And I'm not going to lie, and I know it's weird to say this 4 years ahead of time, but between what Macklin Celebrini is doing right now and the way Connor McDavid is playing, that's a Canadian team that's going to come back twice as strong, or even you could just go with the Worlds a couple years from now, if they end up there. That's true. But yeah, McDavid was broken by USA Hockey, and you see it in the way he's playing, and you see it in the way he's just, there's a certain anger behind Connor McDavid right now. And I always hark back to that, speech that he gave to the team in the locker room where, they had to kind of block off the camera because they got him during Game 7 yelling at his teammates. And that's the kind of player he's always been. But I think getting silver at the Olympics was salt in the wound, and it was something that was just a bit too much, because you even heard a lot of those players on the U.S. side talk about how that one almost meant more than winning a Stanley Cup. It did for the fans. It did for a lot of the players. You realize, because it's only once every 4 years, you're only going to get this opportunity. It took 16 years between the last time we played them in a gold medal game with NHL players and then obviously this year. That's something that sticks with you for a lifetime. And the fact that he was in the middle of that play, if he hustles even a little bit more, he's able to intercept that puck that reaches Jack Hughes, and they don't end up losing that game. The most tortured player in the National Hockey League, and right now he's playing like it. I mean, he's Anakin Skywalker when he turned to the dark side. Are you a Star Wars guy? Did that reference land with you at all? That one did? Okay, good.
I get what you're saying.
We got that one down. Yeah,
I mean,
but he's Anakin, man.
If I lost Natalie Portman too, I'd be pretty pissed.
And that too, yeah.
Like, dude, if that was my love of my life, if we're being honest, if I had
you think McDavid wants to dunk a basketball?
That's exactly where I was going. Like, if the love of my life was Natalie Portman or dunking a basketball, yeah, I'm taking Natalie Portman. I could care less about hooping at that point. Like, I'm telling you, that is.
Oh man.
I mean, if I lost Padme Amidala, I'd be pretty pissed too. Ooh. Just saying. I think.
Yeah. Lost a lot, man.
But no,
lost a lot.
But back to McDavid. I mean, you lost 2 Game 7s to the Florida Panthers, and then you lose the gold medal or this year. So you've had 3 finals you've been in, and you've lost all 3. And in one of them, I mean, I don't know who was the favorite in the island or with the Oilers and the Panthers. I don't know who the favorite was in those, but you were the clear favorite in the USA-Canada game, and you lost. And the whole 3-on-3 thing, I could care less about what it was. But, no, you gotta win something. And this guy's been portrayed as, the greatest thing since Jesus Christ, which, I mean, he's a stud individually, but you gotta win something eventually. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's getting – okay, whew. I thought Schrock was gonna piss me off here for a second, but he was good. He was right. He said Padme.
What did he say?
He said Padme with the greater sign over Ray. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was the other way around for a second. I'm not gonna lie. If that was said, I think I'd just end the podcast right here. No question of the day. No nothing. But no.
Hey, at least we got a minute 50 in before Schrock shut us down. But no,
I mean, you got to win something eventually. I mean, you can't be. Yeah. It's the same thing with Izzo, man. Like, you've got to win something. You've got to get there eventually. Like, you get there, you got to win it. You can't just. Yeah. We can't just do this. Like, well, we made it. We did this. No, go and win something.
Yeah.
I get how great you are individually. And you can't go win something.
You can't get Sidney Crosby comparisons or any of those other guys
No.
until you actually win one. There's no way. I mean, yeah, we can talk about how talented you are. You'll be a part of that list of guys who never got the job done, but we can't throw around Crosby comparisons or anybody else until you actually do the thing, until you actually win a Stanley Cup. So no, 100%. No, the U.S. hockey has created a villain. The U.S. has created multiple villains throughout the course of history. However, in hockey, they have created one villain, and that is Connor McDavid. So I'll be interested to see, man, how it ends up panning out this year. Obviously, still in line. They could go out and win a Stanley Cup, but we'll see how that all that works its way out. But let's get into question of the day.
Question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. And question of the day: use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off that number one smell-proof cleat bag that 100%
Smell
works.
poop.
Yep, smell poop. Visit saltathletic.com today or scan that QR code on your screen. But question of the day: would you, if you're an NFL GM, would you trade with the Ravens after the whole Max Crosby situation?
I think it's weird, and I think it's suspicious, and I heard this mentioned yesterday, and it's a great point. You knew about the MCL before you made the trade. Like, there's no way you didn't know. Yeah, you didn't. They didn't know, and so maybe it was just a situation of, and this is what Dan Orlovsky was saying the other day. Did you know the extent of the injury? Like, what did the doctors tell you? What detail did you miss in that transaction before doing your own and realizing that he wasn't good enough to go? This reminds me a lot, and I know you're not a baseball guy. This reminds me of when the New York Mets took Kumar Rocker, who was one of the biggest pitching prospects in baseball at the time, and then he fails his physical. And they're like, okay, well, everybody knew. It's like the Mets, like, you kind of had to know this going in, right? Like, you did your homework, you did your background, right? No, they got trigger happy, and they went after the guy they knew they wanted. And so maybe that's why other teams in the NFL didn't make a deal for Max Crosby, because they realize he's dealing with that meniscus. And so, no, I would have hesitations in dealing with the Ravens 100%, because I just don't think they do their homework, and maybe they're a little bullish in the way they go about things. I know you and I said that we would give up something similar, if not the same exact thing that the Ravens did to get Max Crosby. But there's this saying that sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it's because it is. And I think for the Ravens, with what they gave up for Max Crosby, from the beginning, it felt almost too good to be true. From the beginning, it almost felt like the Raiders are like, you know what? Maybe he's not quite who he used to be. So, yeah, we'll let him go for what exactly you're offering us, which in my opinion was not that much. It wasn't a haul necessarily for the Raiders. 2 firsts. Okay, you're right. 2 firsts. You're right. That is pretty damn good.
2 firsts is a haul.
But for Max Crosby, it seems like a no duh. But when you factor in the meniscus and everything else, it just seems like they got trigger happy, right? So that's the thing that kind of screwed the Ravens over.
I would say it'd be a little bit dicey next time, but at the same time, you still got to blame the NFL in all this situation, because the rule was it's not processed until Wednesday. I said this yesterday. Like, you can't blame the Ravens the whole time, because the rule is you can agree on something on Monday, or I think they were Sunday, and it's not finalized until Wednesday. So what do?
Yeah.
Well, there's this injury that's going on. Maybe a little serious. Let's check it out real quick. Hey, Trey, what you up to? Yeah. Oh, you want to come? How much? $4,112,000. We don't got to trade any picks for you. All right. Hey, tell the Raiders we don't want it. We don't want Max.
Yeah.
Like, that's. I mean.
Yep.
Is it scummy? Yeah, but at the same time, they're in the business of winning a Super Bowl. Well, trying to win a Super Bowl.
Trying to win.
I wouldn't say in the business of winning it this year, but they're trying to contend, and sometimes you got to do some dirty things to win something. Shout out Bill Belichick all those years. You walked the fine line. And I think the Ravens, I would be a little hesitant to trade with them again, for sure. But, at the same time, I can't fault them, because that's the rule. So fault the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we'll see. I mean, you hope that Max Crosby doesn't go off this year and have a great season, because then obviously something in hindsight that would suck for the Ravens. It also sucked for the Lions too, because, I mean, he just hearing that he went to Baltimore and now hearing his commitment, saying, quote, I'm a Raider, it is just a little disappointing, because I thought he could obviously be another big proponent of that defense, but we got to deal with the secondary first with everything that's going on there, because I just don't think it's a barren wasteland from what my view is. I know we got another center that's good, so I know we added another piece there. I think maybe you keep one of your veteran guys on the offensive line, and then obviously adding Pacheco I think is good. Is he as good as David Montgomery? Is he the same kind of combo back? I don't know, but he is a powerful runner. And so that's, I guess, in a short yardage situation, Pacheco is the kind of guy that
clearly
you
wants
want.
to be here, unlike David.
So, you were talking about the press conference a little bit earlier and what he was saying. So he's fired up. I like that. He's bought into it. And so I think they found a good replacement for him. Obviously, for Lions fans, it's tough news seeing David Montgomery go. But I think on the offensive side, it's been good. But again, the defense is just, you said it. Brad Holmes needs to be held responsible for the debacle that really is the defense right now. And so how do they fix that? I don't necessarily like the patchwork component of what this team has become, because I don't think that, that necessarily reaffirms that our window is still open, but doing what they have to do to fill out those spots. So yeah, definitely unfortunate, but go Lions, man.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. That'll wrap up episode 249 here on Inside the Game. It's been another fun week here on the National Soccer Network. Again, 250 coming up on Monday, halfway to 500 episodes. If you're following along during us in our show live, make sure you give us a follow on social media at National Soccer Network, as well as Sports Nation TV, where we post all of our content. I know our Instagram, TikTok pages continue to blow up and grow. Shout out to Ken Seelman for dropping a comment on today's show and getting those 4 tickets. Also to our friend Tanner White and doing those indoor insights for the MLIS and the WMLIS. A lot of fun stuff coming up this weekend. And until we talk to you guys for 250 on Monday, my name's Nate Wangler. That's Ryan Glinsky. We'll talk to you next time here on Inside the Game.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.